Thank you for joining me, everyone. I feel like I'm stating the obvious when I talk about the Democrats' culture of death and how it's becoming more apparent to certainly those of us who understand it, but hopefully to the American people at large, with this recent liberalizing of abortion laws in several states. New York State with Andrew Cuomo basically allowing for abortion right up to the day of birth. And then this Virginia Governor Northam, who ran as a great moralist against the evil Donald Trump and who was the vanguard of the blue wave, so-called, talking about directly acknowledging and stating quite factually that he supported abortion after birth, which is actually not abortion at all. It's infanticide. And it's this has nothing to do with the life of the mother or the right to choose. This is murder, and that this is ignored or accepted by left wingers. I mean, I heard NPR talk about it, and they sounded very shrill, like there might have even been a slight glimmer of conscience in the person speaking. When he said, well, the real problem here is that conservatives want to completely and utterly ban abortion 100%, which is not really true, but it's not really relevant to what happened here. It's nothing to do with that. This has to do with pushing the envelope and expanding abortion to actually born babies, something that the ancient Romans got rid of. It was a common practice in ancient Greece, and it was reformed by the Roman Empire. Whereas the ancient Greeks, when a baby was born, they would have a couple of judges come out and decide whether or not that baby was fit to live. And if it was deemed not to be fit to live, the baby would be taken off to a hillside to die, to starve to death. This was too much for the Romans, who banned the practice. And of course, it should be understood that this is the very heart of the agenda of the revolutionary left, going all the way back to ancient times, to the first revolution, left-wing revolution, which was when Cain killed Abel. And then is this desire and this need to transform human nature and human society by controlling who lives and who dies. That's what this is all about. This has nothing to do with anyone's rights. You don't have a right to murder. This has to do with the left's passionate and insatiable desire to control others, to control society. Take a look at, the dictionary definition of socialism: public ownership of the means of production. Public is this elite left-winger group who uses the coercive levels of power to force people to control the means of production, control healthcare, control welfare, control education, control all aspects of our lives. And this, at the very core of that desire is this need to decide who lives and who dies. It's the ultimate control of a godless world where they decide they are gods and they decide what life is worth living. This has everything to do with eugenics. It has everything to do with Nazi crackpot race theories. It has everything to do with an elitist agenda that goes back actually to Thomas Malthus in England, and Francis Galton and Charles Darwin and other elitists who viewed the necessity of evolving humanity by removing or isolating those that they deemed to be less evolved. So this is a complete amoral agenda that's been with us really going back to the Garden of Eden, I would say, metaphorically at least, if not literally. And we need to take a look at it and point to it as an opportunity to educate and to teach our fellow citizens that it's exposed and that we can see it in all of its ugliness and heinousness, particularly as they try to liberalize abortion laws. What is the big need right now to liberalize abortion laws? I mean, aren't they liberal enough? These are the kinds of practices that occur nowhere else in the world right now but the United States. And it's a truly barbaric as we look at it conventionally, but to understand their morality, it's moral. It's actually quite ethical because it basically gives man, rather than God, the right to decide who lives and who dies. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.